Everybody, it's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into our Saturday night show. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday weekend. Over here in the United States, we have Memorial Day weekend, and it might be your girl's birthday this weekend. So yes, shout out to everybody who has a holiday birthday out there. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a great time. I have my good friend Drewski of Cryptid Warfare podcast with us tonight. He's in the studio, and we're going to be talking about some cryptid warfare investigations tonight, including the Skinwalker cave. Y'all know I talk about that quite a bit. I love talking about the Skinwalker cave that we went and investigated. I was with Drew, actually, and his team when we did that up in Tennessee, and there are some more investigations coming up, and he's been on quite a few and has explored caves. Okay, caves, pell crawlers. We're going to hear all about it tonight. I can't wait. Okay, so if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows, I have a website. Please go to that website. It is the cryptidhuntress.com. You can find all of my shows there and the events I'm going to be at, including the Squatch Out in East Tennessee. That's going to be in September. I think it's September. Ooh, don't quote me on it. I think it's the second weekend of September, right after Labor Day. So y'all come hang out with me. There's some spots left. They're going to be going fast. If you want to come out and do some tent camping with us and Bigfooting, okay, at a place called Sasquatch Farms. Also, I'm at the Full Disclosure Now conference. That's in July in St. Pete, Florida. And then in August, I'm going to be in Appalachia, the Appalachia Starseed reunion up in some part of North Carolina, actually. So yeah, you guys go to my website and you will find all the information there. All right. Well, let's get to our show. Okay. How about that? Oh, first of all, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my work. That's the Cryptid Huntress over there, and free merch with purchase. Okay. With my War Woman Goods shop on Etsy. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It really helps, and I appreciate it. Oh, and become a member of the channel if you'd like, and I put exclusive content there. All right, let's get to our show tonight because Drew and I have a lot to talk about. Drewski is a warrior of the Almighty whose devotion to Christ is unwavering. He understands that in the spiritual battlefield, living a life that's true to his faith is crucial. He previously served in the law enforcement field for 7 years and has worked as part of SWAT for about 5 of those years. During his time in law enforcement, he served as a squad leader for 4 years and helped with tracking and escape teams to find convicts for an additional 4 years. In addition to his duties in law enforcement, he's also worked in protective custody and escorted VIPs for 4 years. He even ran a security team of approximately 50 individuals for 6 years, but that's not all. He has extensive experience in bushcraft and survival with over 20 years of knowledge in this field. And if that wasn't impressive enough, he's also had over 10 years of experience in Bigfoot and cryptid field research. And I can attest to that. I've been out in the field with him, and man, he and his team are thorough when it comes to cryptid investigating. So please help me welcome to the show today, my friend Drewski. Hey, Drew.
Hey, good morning, y'all. And Jessica, happy birthday once again. Woo!
Hey. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just an old lady over here.
Yeah,
21 again.
The big old 20. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. Right. I always find it's better to tell people that you're a lot older than you really are so they think you look really young, you know. So I'm 75 today. You know.
Right on.
I'm kidding. Oh, I see your name is Ski today. So I gotta call you Ski. I see that.
No, it it was basically like the last episode I did. Like my buddy D, he always calls me Ski, so I just
Love it.
I'll show it up Ski. So, but
I
yeah,
love
I forgot to change that. I forgot to change it back. So.
it. I like it. Well, you're Drewski to me. You'll always be Drewski. And man, I had a lot of fun with you. I know we did an update. Okay, so for the audience who is not familiar with where you and I went and your whole team, let's talk about that for just a minute, because this is something that I bring up quite a bit, and it was at Skinwalker Cave at Farrah's house. Do you want to kind of tell the audience about that a little bit and how you and I got involved in that?
Yeah, so basically, so with that, a lady reached out to us named Farrah. I know she reached out to you. She actually followed the podcast that we were on, and then I know she followed yours. So, but she actually overheard that other than myself doing a podcast, she heard, and she saw that that like my bread and butter is cryptid researching and cryptid hunting. So she was just telling me about like her experiences, that she had at the property that she bought and stuff. So she was kind of asking us like, hey, like, what's your guys' advice on what we should do? And I was like, you know what? I was talking to her, and then I was actually telling the situation to the guys around my team, and they're like, dude, screw this, bro. Let's just go out there and help her out. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we all like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I reached out to her again. I'm like, hey, would you mind if we actually went out there to go check it out? Help you out, and go out there and research, see what we can find. And she's like, oh yeah. And then you came along, and all that good stuff. So it just actually it actually all like worked out together. So
Oh yeah, I love your team. You got the best crew of guys. Tell me a little bit about your team, and then we'll get into some details as to like what the investigation entailed out there at that cave. Tell me about your team.
I've actually added on 2 more guys, by the way. So
oh yeah,
so yeah, these guys are pretty squared away. So basically with my team, I actually vet them. So I basically check out their background, what their skills are, stuff like that. So I just basically look at it as like, what can you add to this team that that can help us, because there's only like certain things that I can do. There's only certain things that Zook can do and all that. So we try to cover all aspects, like when it comes to like the electronics aspects, or like video cameras or comms or anything like that. So Zook does all of like the audio, the video, and stuff like that, and like electronics. He's like the electronics guru when it comes to that. So he's like the tech guy. And then Taylor, he does like a lot of like long range sniper stuff. So he's done a lot of that. And then he deals with a lot of like the comms, the radios and stuff like that. So he's had a lot of experience in that. And then my buddy Paul, him and his cousin was she was basically kind of like an army medic, and he did like the medical side too for security and army and all that. So I brought him on, and he was a big go-getter as it was anyway with Bigfoot. So he totally believed that. And then that's how him and I connected. And then my good old buddy Brian, him and I worked together when it came to law enforcement. Like I've known that guy for years, so he's basically like my best friend. So anything I go, he goes, or anything he goes, I go. So him and I are kind of like joined at the hip. And then my buddy Braxton, he is basically kind of like a rifleman. So that's basically all he does. He deals with weapons and stuff like that. And then my buddy O Juice, he's like I guess he's kind of like the old head of the team. He kind of keeps us in check. Like, all right, guys, let's just really think about this before you guys do anything stupid. Or we're like, okay. Roger that, Gramps.
You gotta have one of those on the team. You gotta have a level head guy in there to be like, all right, think twice about this, y'all. I like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. And then we actually added on Brian's dad. He was he was a Korean War veteran, and then he was Vietnam and all that stuff too, and he was in the military for a long time. So long time. So he's kind of like our kind of like our patriarch of the team. Like he's like, all right, guys, just really think about this. Basically, like him and Scott are the ones that kind of like oversee everything. Like I bring the case to them, like, okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do, and they kind of just sit back and think about it. They're basically kind of like the guys that are kind of like the wise ones, like, okay, Drew, maybe we should think about doing this. I'm just throwing it out there for you. We can ponder on that, whatever. All right, cool. And then my buddy Steven, who I added on, he is like the armor. He's like the weapons guru. He is like the whiz when it comes to guns, ammo, everything. So he knows like, okay, like big game, use this. Like sensory issues, okay, we'll just use CS gas, all this stuff. So everybody brings a whole, like something special to the team. So
yeah, you got the A team.
It works out good. Oh, and then not only that, I added my brother, Logan. He literally just got his commercial pilot's license. So we actually got us a pilot on the team.
Ooh.
So
okay,
when we're shooting to go to Maine, he's going to fly us out there personally. So anywhere we want to go outside of state, he's going to fly us out.
No way. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got the hookup. And what I really appreciate about your team is you take like a tactical approach to this. And I think, our teams take a tactical approach too. And yes, we are armed when we go out there. That's something that I've never shied away from telling people, not too much. I don't talk about what I carry and all that kind of stuff, but just for protection, I think it's important for people to be able to protect themselves when they're going out in the field and researching Dogman and Wendigos and Bigfoot and all this stuff. And I have no intention to kill anything, okay, and to hurt anything. But I'm here, I got to protect myself and my team, right?
Oh,
and I think that's kind of what y'all do.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, safety is number one. Like, we're there just to research, capture on camera, just to basically just to study these things, study these creatures, and if anybody needs help, we'll help them out. But as far as killing them, that is like a last resort for us. But we'd rather be prepared, rather have it than not need it, and need it and not have it. That's just it.
Yeah. And you have a military background. Do most of the guys on your team have military or law enforcement backgrounds?
Yep, basically everyone's like all in coherence on something. Like some of them are bounty hunters, military, law enforcement, stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. My team has been up in national parks, actually. There's one particular time in North Carolina. Some of my team was up in one of the parks. I don't know if it was Uwari or not, but they were out there doing some research, and these guys walked out of the woods wearing full SWAT uniforms, like straight up. That's how they describe them. And these guys on my team are military background too. Okay, but they said when the guys walked out of the woods with their weapons and their, armor plates and everything, they were like, "What are y'all doing here?" They looked at them and they said, "Well, we're doing the same thing y'all are doing."
Yeah.
What they said. Yeah. And they were straight up there on a mission for real. Sent there. So yeah, I don't know. We hear about that pretty often, government agencies or some sort of agencies being contracted to go take out problematic cryptids and stuff like that. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah. Well, speaking of stories, it's funny you mentioned that because on like one of the episodes I was talking about on one of these convicts we had to go help like the tracking team with. We had a little incident where I think they were Bigfoots paralleling us, and then we got the convict, brought him down the mountain in Colorado, and then we had a government agency came down. It's like, hey, you guys need to sign this, what you guys saw. We had to like write our reports out and all that, and then that was it. So yeah.
Wow. So they were aware that you had seen something that was odd, like a Bigfoot, or you suspected there might be one? Is that why they had you sign that?
Well, basically in that area, Bigfoot's known in like Wetmore and like San Isabel, stuff like that in Colorado. And basically like a lot of the prisons in Colorado that are close to the mountains, kind of like Canyon City, Fowler, stuff like that. There's like escaped convicts or anyone that we're tracking when it comes to criminals and stuff like that. So they usually go up in the mountains, and if there's any helicopters or anything like that flying over, if there's anybody who escapes at all, that's a high priority. It ain't just local law enforcement or state law enforcement that gets in it. Feds get in it as well.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah.
What an interesting job. So you're I'm going to say very well trained in human and animal tracking then. Right?
I don't like to say that, but I guess I can hold my own, but I got a lot to learn, but I try to do the best I can. So.
Yeah. Well, it's like the rest of us. I've been trained in tracking quite a bit, and I'm teaching my son tracking right now. because I think it's important. We got to know animal and human tracking and to know what sign to look for when it comes to all these cryptids. Now, my background is in Bigfoot field research. Okay. Yes. And I know you've been into Bigfoot field research yourself, but a lot of times we come across stuff that's not Bigfoot. Has that been your case?
Yes and no when it comes to, I guess like Farrah's area, because that was the first time we actually might be coming across a Skinwalker. So you had to do a lot of research. I had to do a lot of research. My team had to do a lot of research, and we had to basically cross our T's and dot our I's on that to make sure we at least had something, going into it instead of like hoping for the best. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. What I discovered right away was that it's very similar to vampire hunting. Okay. Yeah. Like with a lot of, so not to get into detail because I was asked not to share everything that I was told by my Native American friend who was advising me on this. But it was very similar to hunting a vampire, and it's very spiritual too. Were you surprised about that or no?
As far as that, well, you guys like cryptid warfare, so I kind of go at it like a spiritual aspect of it, because I do believe when it comes to UFOs, cryptids, gigways, all kinds of like anomalies, like I do believe it is spiritual in some aspects, some way. So I do believe a lot of these creatures are interdimensional, stuff like that. So they jump in and out of portals, whatnot. So I do believe there's really, of course, these things are physical too, but I do believe it is spiritual in a big way.
Well, okay. So just for example, right? Like we went to Farrah's, so we were in like northern Tennessee. We went to our friend Farrah's home. Her and her husband were living there in this cabin. I think the surrounding area was almost 500 acres of land. And when we got there, they had a cave in their backyard right behind their house. And she said that they were having like dark bipedal figures on their cameras at night and, slinking around the house, and their chickens were going missing. Mm-hmm. Of course, the chicken coop was right there by the entrance of that cave. Mm-hmm. So
they had the photo of like access. That Dogman silhouette too. Mm-hmm. Footprints, all that. Yeah.
Footprints, human-like footprints and stuff. But remember when we got there, there was one of her chickens had just gone missing, and there was those feathers in the entrance of the cave, but there were no footprints inside the cave. Right? That was weird.
Yeah, that was a trip too, especially how whatever it was got those chickens. Like it used a stick to kind of corral them, and it was just grabbing them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Okay, so I thought that was really odd because, being a tracker and everything, you'd expect to see some footprints in that cave, especially if it was either like a feral human or a Bigfoot or even a Dogman or whatever. There would have been, because the floor of that cave was all mud. I know my feet were getting stuck in the mud.
Muddy and clay for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, really odd. Tell the audience what you experienced, because I went in the cave with you guys too, but I didn't go as deep as you and the guys did. Tell the audience about the cave.
Yeah, so basically when we showed up, it's kind of funny because Zook's kind of like our ace in the hole when it comes to the spiritual aspect, because his testimony is pretty crazy. He dated a witch and all that, so he's pretty. I guess his senses are pretty high. And as soon as we pulled up and looked at that cave, he's like, "Buddy, I'm getting some vibes, bud. I'm getting some vibes." And I walked up and I was like, "You know what? I am too."
Me three. I was like, because it was so hot out there. It was the middle of the summer. It was hot. And when we went into the cave, it was literally like walking into a portal. I mean, that's kind of how I was feeling, because you walked in it and it was like a completely different environment. It was definitely like subterranean environment. It was cool. It was creepy. Farrah pulled out the ghost hunting devices, and we were picking up stick figures, with that kinetic camera, which, I mean, one was like a giant. We had one giant and two little tiny stick figures climbing on the walls and stuff. It was creepy.
Yeah, that also had like a lot of like different entrances and stuff to it and whatnot. So, but anyways, but going back to your question on what like all of us experienced, like you said, you went about like all the way to about like, I say about like halfway, and then like me and the guys kept going. The only reason why we stopped is because we actually ran out of rope. That's the only reason why we stopped. So we actually had to turn back around. But like what we saw and what we experienced was, as soon as it basically when we went all the way to the end and you had a duck underneath that rock, and it's like that was where like the mud and the clay ended, and then it was just rock and like streams and stuff like that in there. So it was actually pretty slick. So we basically kept going, and there was like so many different tunnels to go through. So we were like on high alert, taking our
Mhm.
time. I'm sorry, but I'm bringing my pistol anyway. I don't care. I had like my war belt on me. My buddy Brian did too. We had night vision, all this stuff. All my guys were good to go, but we're literally taking our time. And as we were going, we were actually dropping cam lights about every 20 to 25 feet. That way, if we do need to book it out, we can see where we're going, you know?
Mhm.
But as far as like those entrances, like we were actually taking our time, kind of like clearing out each entrance, almost kind of like room clearing. We'd start from one end and we just hit each section. So a lot of those, a lot of those entrances that led to different parts of the cave, like some of them were actually we walked up and then it was just concreted off. It was crazy. So, but what we're told too is that they actually Ferris said something about like the Tennessee Cave Association or like some college went there
Mhm.
check it out a while back. So, but it was pretty crazy though. They actually concreted these certain entrances and like at the end of them. But what was crazy is that the concrete almost went up like 20 feet. Like they just concreted off this whole section. And then like, we can't go that way. So then we turned back around and went to this other entrance, and it just got smaller and smaller. And we're like, okay, well, we can't go that way. So we just keep pressing forward, and then we ended up at this stream. So we followed this stream, and then we came up to almost kind of like a drop off, and like this stream kind of ponds out right there. So I got my 200 foot of rope, tied it off. Brian went down. I'm lowering him down, and then T grabs the end of the rope, and I go down. I actually go like rappelling down, and then I tell the guys, "Hey, just stay at the top. T, hold the rope just in case you need to pull us back up fast." So, and as I'm rappelling down, Brian's going ahead of me, and then him and I climb up like this 50 foot kind of like slick rock, and then we get up to the top, and it just drops off 100 feet, and it opens up in like this cathedral. But it was just dark, pitch black in there. And then we seen other entrances, and like, dude, this thing just keeps going. But we ran out of rope, so we couldn't,
No.
we couldn't go
No, you
anymore. Yeah,
can't keep going after that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and
my
yeah. But
question, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, why
good.
were those things closed up? Like, what would
I
have
don't know.
caused them to close that off? I mean, for people's safety, I mean, those private land, so there's not going to be a whole lot of people going in and out of there. What
Well,
do you think?
well, to me, like what I think is, well, to me in Tennessee and Kentucky, all these cave systems all connect, and also too, when you did your, oh my gosh, I always forget what
Remote
it's called.
viewing?
Yes,
Remote
remote viewing.
viewing.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of these places, like you said, some of them have like underground military bases in there
Mhm.
or entrances, whatever. So I believe sometimes that um, they actually block entrances to get to certain areas of military bases. Almost kind of,
That's what, yeah.
yeah, almost kind of like
That's what I was
NORAD
doing.
and
I was
stuff like
kind
that.
of going there. Yeah, I was hoping you'd
Yep.
kind of say that because that's what I was thinking too. It may be to, protect those underground bases they've got there. There was something because Farrah was reporting that their bed would rattle at night,
Yeah.
like there was something underneath their house.
Yeah. And I 100% agree with her. Like if there was a military base under there or a government agency base or even an alien, who knows? But there's something under there. They would need to block off certain entrances, certain ways for them, for anybody to come in through like the back way or the side or anything like that. So that's what they had to do. That's what they had to do. And not only that, too, like on the side, like me and my guys actually go spelunking for fun. We go caving and stuff like that all the time. So when we went in there, we're like, we've never seen anything like this before. So like everything's concreted off. This is weird.
Yeah, it was weird. And I remember you guys saying that there was some kind of casket or something, like something drawn into the mud. What was that about? Seemed
Oh
like,
yeah,
you remember that?
yeah, I do. Yeah, matter of fact, Zook's the one that pointed it out because I passed it, T passed it, Brian passed it, and Zook's all, hey, check this out. And we're like, what? And it was almost like this casket drawn on the side of the wall and in the ground. And yeah, so it looks like it's been there forever.
Well, you know, that actually would be a place for people to live back, especially back in the day, you know, and to get cool. I mean, who's to say that the Native Americans didn't at some point live there
Oh,
inside the cave?
well, speaking of that too, when Brian and Zook and I went off to the other side of the cave, we squeezed through all these passages and we found fire pits,
Yeah.
old, like old fire pits, and it had like a little like duct system going up to where it opened up into the earth right there, and it just that'd be a perfect spot for you to light a fire and the smoke would just go
Mhm.
out. So I thought that was really interesting.
Oh yeah, it's a great place to go if you need to get out of the elements, the weather, but it's also scary as heck in there.
Yeah.
And the story, okay, so we were actually kind of expecting. I was kind of holding my breath because I thought we might encounter a skinwalker in there, or even like a pale crawler type of a deal.
Yeah.
Um, were you thinking about that too the whole time you guys were getting deeper and deeper
Oh,
into the cave?
100%. I was thinking of like the descent.
Yeah,
Straight
right.
up. I was thinking, I was like, man, dude, I swear, like, so that's the
Something's
reason
gonna
why
grab you.
yeah, so that's the reason why I told everyone, I don't care, gun up, bring your knives, like, just be prepared, like bring up your med kit, extra flashlights, night vision, stuff like that. So let's just watch our six. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
other than that, it was
I had
good.
a trauma pack. I had my
Yeah.
trauma pack ready to go in case something happened for
Oh,
anybody.
oh, for
Yeah.
sure on that. But
Uh,
the second cave we went to the next day, that was really cool. That was really cool. And that's
oh, that
where
was across the road.
yeah, that was actually where I
Mhm.
thought we actually ran into a crawler, like no joke, like a shadow person or a crawler.
Tell the audience about that.
Okay, so basically, were you, Fair, her husband, and Brian went to go do some recon at that other
Mhm.
area? Well, me and the guys were back there at basically at home base. You guys went to go check it out, and then when we came back, Brian's like, "All right, let's load up." So we basically did the same thing: grabbed the ropes, grabbed all the gear, and then so we went to go attack that cave system first. And then Brian was saying if we keep going down like this ravine, it goes on for a couple miles, we actually might run into something. So, all right, cool. So we actually went into this cave. Well, the trick with this cave is we actually had to tie off to a big tree and we had to rappel down 200 feet. So I was like, oh, okay, so I hope we're not gassed when we try to get out of there because it's going to be a minute before we get out of there. So I went, Brian went, and we just took our time, and then everybody basically like followed suit. So the thing I was worried about was, oh man, if we tie off and if something comes along and cuts that rope, we're freaking screwed. We are screwed. So I was like praying, God, please don't let anybody come and cut this rope. So yeah, so anyways, yeah, so we went there, went to check it out, and we're just following all these entrances and stuff, and we saw like some footprints of like animals, of like dogs. It almost kind of looked like cougar footprints over there, whatnot, and like in the mud and stuff. And then we kept following this certain pathway that just kept going and kept going, and then we heard a bunch of rocks falling, like something's like kind of running ahead of us. So that was when we actually stopped, and that was when Zook started recording. Well, if you look at the recording, I'm in front taking point. Ryan's right behind me, and pardon T's language, but um, I see something. It looks like something. It almost looks like a crawler is 15 foot up because the cave entrance is really thin. Only basically kind of like your body can get through it, but you can see ahead of it about a good 20 feet, and it starts to curve to the left. Well, it looks like something is 15 foot up on the curve, poking its body out, looking like that. So that's what stopped all of us. We're like, whoa, you see that? And then I jumped up, kind of started to whistle at it, threw my flashlight up at it, and then I stopped. And T was like, T was like, oh, I saw that. I effing saw that. So I'm kind of trying to coax it out, whistling. I got my pistol out. Brian's got his pistol out, and we're creeping forward. And next thing we know, we just hear something scurry off, and we're like, okay, let's just turn back around. So we're like, okay. So yeah, so we basically go any further because you actually have to, we actually have to spider on the wall. You have to put pressure on each side to kind of scoop along because there's nothing but water underneath you. but we don't know how deep that water is. So I actually like ran out of cam lights, and so did the guys, because we were doing the same thing in that cave. We were dropping cam lights about every 20 feet. So by the time we got to that section where it curved off and we thought we ran into that shadow crawler, when we started to kind of spider crawl on that wall to kind of keep going, we look down and there's nothing but water that just keeps going. And we're like, we don't know how deep that is. I don't want to slip and fall, and I'm screwed because I don't know what the hell's underneath there. It could be rock, could be whatever, you know.
Okay. Could be something that's going to grab your ankles too.
I know. I don't like that. It's scary.
I know. And so, okay, so it takes a special kind of person to do the things that we do. Okay, it really does. This is not for everybody. Okay, so everybody who's listening in and watching tonight, this is not for the faint of heart. You got to have your mind straight, and you got to trust the people that you're with, because when what is that, SHTF? Okay,
Yeah.
y'all know what I mean. When it hits the fan, you know, and if you have to shoot something in a cave, if you have to shoot, I mean, even a bear, if a bear charges you, I mean, that's gonna bust everybody's eardrums, first of all, just from being in a cave, right?
Yeah, well, not only that too, like it's actually pretty dangerous, because if it's loud enough, it can rattle and it can knock loose certain rocks that are holding up certain things, and it can collapse.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. How dangerous.
So that's why they say if you go caving, don't carry a pistol. But I'm sorry, with what we're doing, for the reasons that we're doing, I'm carrying a pistol. I'm sorry, like because this machete ain't gonna work. I'd rather create distance, and then if worse comes to worse, yeah, you know, screw it, I'll pull like my melee weapon. But I'm gonna want to create that distance for sure.
I don't know, maybe carry a suppressor or something. Something. I don't know. That's wild. I mean, yeah, it's this is not for everybody, and you know, and I was going to say earlier when you were describing it, I was like, well, this is a good example of what to do when you're on a cryptid hunt. You know, you do leave the glow sticks everywhere. You know, you leave a trail. Especially at night. But okay, I'm not suggesting anybody do what we do. Okay, I'm not, unless you're highly skilled and highly trained and all this stuff, and you've been doing it for a while. Okay, but so that was. So the pell crawler, I did not even really look into like what we would do if we encountered the pell crawler. You know, I was mostly doing the research on the Skinwalker because I had not encountered one of those before. But I have people that I'm very good personal friends with that have videos of pell crawlers in their backyards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in there, like, what in the world do you think a pell crawler is, and how would we go about dealing with a pell crawler if we encountered one?
Oh man, well, I was actually doing some research. Let me pull this up real quick because, gosh, let me pull it up. Well, I know with of course, like fire or like iron, like it's really hard to find iron weapons nowadays, but iron works really good. But if you get iron and you put it in with, how do you put it? If you get like coal and you mix it with oil and you create kind of like a film that goes at the edge of your blade. Mm-hmm. On an iron blade, somehow, some way, that thing actually works, and it kind of counteracts to their healing abilities, and so it actually causes damage. Or you could like anoint your bullets, or you can do the same thing with the blade with your ammo. You can actually coat the tips of that with like the hardest part of the coal with some oil, and you can actually coat that. So I don't know why it works, but it works. Like reading up and studying and doing like a lot of research on this, on how Native Americans did it, on how like certain cryptid hunters did it back in like the medieval times, like how they actually dealt with these things, hand-to-hand combat, stuff like that. So it's just something about it.
Wow. Yeah, I've been actually learning about, okay, so I know we're not talking about the Wendigo yet, because we're going to get to that one in a minute. Okay.
Oh man.
But there's certain things like the iron that you're talking about that will disable them. Like some people say that's why people used to put horseshoes above their doorways. Okay, because it would keep the vampires away. I thought it was for good luck. Okay, but that's not what everybody used them for. And
when you think about it, that's why they had like graves. Yeah, exactly. Iron bars on their windows. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd rather just sleep with a firearm or something. You know, I don't want to lock myself in my house, because then you get locked in there and you can't get out. You know, if you got iron bars everywhere and stuff. But
okay, here it is. Here it is. I got it right here. Okay, here it is. Okay, on my notes. Killing cryptids. Okay. Here's the one at Skinwalkers. Okay, it says pray or bless over your ammo with anointing oil or with white ash from the burnt wood, and rub it on your ammo. Also, never whistle
You
during
were
the day,
whistling.
or I was, yes,
You
never
were
whistle during
whistling.
the day or that because it attracts them, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to like to see this, just basically to see if I
Pulling it
can
out.
get it out, and then I, had my pistol up on the sights, see if it poke its head out, and I was really going to try to do a pop shot at it. I'm sorry, I was, because Brian was like, "Dude, I got you. Let's do this." I'm like, "All right, screw it, let's do this." So that's where that's exactly the reason why I was whistling. I was trying to kind of coax it out because from what we saw like a shadow thing poke out a little bit and duck back in, and that's why we all stopped, and that's when I started whistling to see if it'd come out. But
Did you
yeah,
have a GoPro that night?
matter of fact, I actually got it on camera. Zook was actually recording it, so
Right.
I'll send you the recording.
We all need GoPros. I mean, I have one on the body harness and everything. Like that's
Oh
something
yeah,
that I think would be really great for like just about everybody to have
yeah,
one.
I
To
agree.
get the different views and to put them on your back. Because I was talking to
Yes.
Harley. I actually had George Lunsford on my show at Spaced Out Radio last weekend, and his research buddy Harley was in there. Harley Owens. He has some great footage of like Dogman up in East Tennessee, good pictures, and he's a Bigfoot researcher. But they're talking about doing this. I think it was Scott Carpenter's.
Scott
With
Carpenter, yep.
He would wear a camera on his back. I guess it was like a
And you
GoPro,
and you'd
and
see a lot of cryptids poke
yeah.
their head out and watch them. Yeah.
I think we should. I think that's something we should think about when next time I go out with you guys,
Oh
or
yeah,
just
I
when you
agree.
guys do it, or when I went with my team. I was just out with my team last weekend, out in the field. So we're out there, boots on the ground for
Yeah,
sure. We're having
boots
fun, right?
on the ground,
Boots,
on the
boots,
ground,
boots. Yes, that's what we do.
and and also too, what me and the guys came up with, since we're ahead of time, we actually came up with the word since. Okay, here's a little intel for you guys. If you guys are cryptid hunting, and if you guys are coming up against a skinwalker, right? Before you go, make sure, don't say it, but make sure you guys write down a code word that only you and your team know, because skinwalkers could change form into your team, right? So let's say anytime, example, like Braxton went out to go take a piss, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the cave and he came back and we're like, all of us had our pistols, kind of code word, bro. And he's like, oh, da da da. And we're like, okay, cool, you're good. Come on.
God forbid we forget the code word. Oh my God, we're
Yeah,
in trouble.
but he didn't say it. We're like code word, and we gave him a basically a paper and pen, and he written it out and showed us like, okay, you're good. They were like you never freaking know, you never know.
That reminds me of actually a story out of Mount Shasta, out in California.
Okay.
There was a little boy who kind of got kidnapped by a robot grandma. He called her robot grandma because
Yeah.
it was a woman who looked just like his grandma, but it wasn't his grandma because he said that she looked like she was a robot because her eyes were different and her eyes were like glistening and they looked like they were plastic or something. And he said that I guess like she took him into a cave and there were a whole bunch of like what looked like mannequins in there, of people who weren't moving. Basically, it was like clones, okay, of people in this mountain at Mount Shasta, where they say there are inner Earth beings there, like the Lemurians are underground there, and I've
Yeah.
talked about it, done shows on it. But the woman took him back outside at some point and left him in a bush because there was a search team looking for him. Okay, and turns out that his actual grandma had been at that same spot camping the year before and woke up on the ground, passed out, and she had puncture wounds in her neck. Okay, so it's assumed that she might have been cloned, like taken and
Yeah.
cloned, and for whatever purposes. And so that is something that could potentially be going on at some of these caves. And let me just tell you, if we've got
Yeah.
an underground facility going on out there, at that particular one that we were at, there's no telling what if they're grabbing people. We got the missing 411 clusters. Where are those people going?
Yeah, for sure. It kind of
Yeah,
makes sense too, because you said like
yeah,
punctures in their neck. Of
mhm,
course they're like extracting DNA, right?
yeah,
So
I guess so.
you can
Sure.
use that to their ability. But also
Yeah.
too, another food for thought too is said something about like rusty water. It's almost like acid to them, because you got rust, you got from iron and stuff like that. Like an iron knife, or if not, like a silver knife, it cuts through the skin like butter. Or go for the heart, cut off the head, or good old fashioned flamethrower.
Oh my God.
or like incendiary ammo. So
Yeah. I mean,
but
fire will pretty much get anything, I guess. But I mean,
yeah,
but it's a whole other ball game when you're inside a cave,
yeah,
and it's us putting ourselves in danger basically. So like we got to kind of know what the dangers are, I guess, when we go in. But
yeah,
it's
100%.
it's for the research, right?
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, that's why I'm kind of like a stickler for if we're doing a hunt. That's why I plan it like a good 5 to 6 months out because I
Hmm.
try to do as much research as I can. All my guys do, and we try to get mentally prepped and spiritually ready for it. So when the time comes, like, okay, we're good to go. Either way, we're good to go.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you've got another trip plan. You're thinking about going somewhere to go hunt Wendigo, right? So
Yes,
let's talk about
yes,
that.
yes. That is actually the second trip. This other trip we're going to with Brian, it's going to be in Mississippi, but that's for, I think that's a mixture between Dogman and Bigfoot. But anyways, we're going to go with the Wendigo. I like that one.
We'll talk
So
about the other one later. Well, yeah.
yeah.
Well. Do you want to talk about the one in Mississippi first, and then so we'll do it chronologically? We should just do that.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll make this
Okay.
quick. So basically, with Brian, he went to this area we're actually all talking about. So him and his dad and his nephew, that's in the Marines right now. They went to go to this spot in Alabama. Oh God, I forgot the national park, but it's about like 2.5 hours away from where I live at. But they went there. It was about like a 12-mile hike. They actually rucked in. So, but they ran into two cemeteries, two different ones though. So one of them was an abandoned cemetery, and the other one was a Indian burial ground cemetery. So Brian's dad was like, "Nope, we're not walking through these. We're going around." So they went around both of them, and they camped about a mile away from these two cemeteries. Well, Brian's dad, bless his heart, I love this dude, and Brian's dad, Brian Sr., he's not as scared of anything. This guy's been through war. He's been shot at. Like, this guy's hardcore. He said, Andrew, I've never been so scared in my life other than that night. I was like, okay, well, what happened? And he's like, okay, well, here's what happened. So we camped out about a mile away from those graveyards, right? I was like, yeah. So they started to hear noises in the middle of the night, things rushing them, running around their camp, logs getting thrown, and screeching, screaming, and all they had were their pistols, mind you. So they did not sleep a wink that whole night. They were just kind of back to back, just listening to stuff, just kind of just watching. So in like a 360 view. So yeah, basically they didn't sleep that whole night. And Brian Senior really thought, he's like, I really didn't think we were gonna get out of there alive. It
Really?
was really, yeah, it was really like that scary. So I was like, cool, let's go. But so but Brian but Brian came back. He's like, dude, we're going back. So we're gonna go research and check the spot out. So that's what we're actually in the middle of doing. We're planning out, and we're gonna be getting together in like June 16th or something like that on the weekend, and we're gonna have kind of like a basically have like a mission brief, a gear check, and stuff like that, and to kind of get like a recon of the area. And Brian's going to be talking about certain places on where he camped at, what he's seen, and stuff. And we actually talked to local law enforcement, and we talked to like the park rangers there and stuff like that on what that area was about and stuff like that. So we just try to gather up as much intel as we can before we go.
Yeah. I think Brian said that was an open carry type of state park too. I
Yeah,
think is what he was
yeah,
telling me.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of important as well when you're doing the stuff that we're doing. So,
yeah,
um, wow. Well, I knew that it got dicey, but I didn't know the whole story behind it.
yeah.
So that sounds like my kind of a place. But being off the beaten path like that and being near those cemeteries, did they think that it could have been like a dogman type creature, or were they thinking Bigfoot, or what were they thinking was making
Well,
them?
well, with Brian Senior, he's had his share of like Bigfoot experiences. He didn't think it was Bigfoot. He thought it was something else. Thought it was something else, like more primal, more evil. And I'm guessing Dogman, because I know Dogman hangs out around graveyards, and
Mhm.
they actually, I guess they use them as protectors of like Indian burial grounds and stuff like that. So, or skinwalkers, who knows? That's basically what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was talking to some. I guess it was. I had George on my show this weekend. George Lunsford, who does. I just brought him up twice. That does Bigfoot field research and seen Dogman and all this other stuff. And he was saying, telling me last night, he didn't realize that skinwalkers were on this part of the country. He thought they were all out west in like Utah. But
Oh, yeah. To
they're
me,
everywhere.
wherever there's Indians, they always have their Indian medicine man, and we know they got their witch doctor, so they got skinwalkers everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's skinwalkers up in North Carolina.
Yeah, like I said, everywhere. Wherever there was a Native American tribe at or whatever, you got skinwalkers.
Yeah, well, to backtrack a little bit about that cave that we had gone into at Farrah's house, the story behind it went that there was a Native American shaman or medicine man who had banished a bunch of skinwalkers into that cave behind her house.
Yeah, well, it was like 3, wasn't it, or something like that?
It was more. It was one's enough. Okay, so it was more than
yeah. But the thing that tripped me out was, wasn't they saying that since, like when Farrah moved there, she put an offering in the entrance of that cave, and that's what released them out, wasn't it? I could be getting this wrong.
I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know if it released it, but I think that she felt that something was released after she did that. Yeah. I think because she was putting recording devices in the mouth of that cave, like in the opening, and she was picking up voices and stuff on that recording. I mean, she's brave because I probably wouldn't have done that personally.
Yeah, and her going there alone, I was like, girl, what are you doing? Oh.
I know. I'm a seasoned researcher, and I don't like going in there by myself or anywhere near it. Yeah.
Heck no, man.
None of us really wanted to put our back to that cave entrance either, did we?
No. No.
Yeah. That was crazy.
But yeah. But what's crazy though about that too is after we came out of that second cave, we started to go up like that valley, and we just started hearing things running on the side of us, and then we heard things running in front of us, and then every now and then I'm looking up at the trees, I don't want nothing dropping in on us, and all the guys are just in like a diamond formation, just looking left, right, back, rear, all that. And we ran into this abandoned barn, like in the middle of the mountain. And so like this thing was like 3 levels high. It was actually really big. I was actually really surprised on how big that barn was. So we're like, well, let's go over there and check it out. And we basically like cleared it out. So I had my guys go around one side, go around the other, and me and Brian went in there and cleared it out. But it stunk in there bad. It stunk like pits, like all kinds of stuff. It stunk in there pretty bad. We're thinking, well, if the cryptid was to easily get shelter in here, this would definitely be it.
Yeah, I remember that. You're talking about in Tennessee, right? Because that barn was an awesome barn. Yeah, great places for cryptids to hang out. You got to kind of know their environment, where they would hide. And you kind of pick up on it, and you're very intuitive. All those guys out there are very intuitive, and and it's good to like go with your gut. If we got a bad feeling, we can either get out of there or just be aware, be super hyper vigilant.
Yeah. Did you guys go to the first one or the second barn?
I don't know. I guess it was the first barn. I didn't know there was a second barn out there.
There was, yeah. Matter of fact, that was the one I was talking about, because you pass the first barn and you go about like a mile and a half out, and you run into a second barn.
Cool.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. Yeah, that was looked like 3 levels high. It was amazing. So I got that on camera too. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, I saw the video. He made for some great videos. But yeah, I think the GoPro idea is going to be excellent for future investigations. Everybody just strap on a GoPro on the front or the back, and you get some good evidence. And I mean, it would help if, in case something happened to any of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could
go in those caves. Yeah, especially in the caves, Yeah. But anyways, okay, so we got the Mississippi trip. Okay, and now I am really interested in this Wendigo stuff going on up in Maine. I just realized that Wendigos are kind of the same as White Walkers that they had on like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, or like
What the heck? And so there's a trip plan. Tell me about it. What are y'all planning to do?
Okay, yeah. So me and Kevin, shout out to Where the Weird Ones Are podcast. My buddy Kevin and Jessica too.
Kevin?
Yeah, he's a good dude. And congratulations to him and his new baby. So blessings to them both and his girlfriend. So
awesome.
So him and I were just randomly chatting about, you know, cryptids and stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, we're known for a lot of UFOs and Wendigo up here. I was like, ooh, buddy, what do you think about a Wendigo hunt? He's like, I'm game. I was like, okay, cool. So is there any areas and national parks and stuff? He's like, dude, we have woods out here galore. Of course, it's Maine. You know, you got woods everywhere out there. So we're planning on taking a trip out there. I'm still trying to get as much intel as I can on what area we're going to go into, because I want to talk to the police. I want to talk to the park and rec there, or the rangers or whatnot, just to see what items we can bring. Because I don't know if it's a blue state, I don't know if it's a red state, I don't know if they use it for lighting or whatnot. So, you know, I don't want to go up there and be like, oh no, you guys can't bring anything. Well, screw that, we ain't doing it. But as far as that, I talked to all my guys. All 10 of us are good to go. My brother's actually going to fly us out there, so we're going to hop on a plane from Tennessee and just zoom out there. So then he's going to hang out there, and yeah, we're just going to see what we can do. But we're bringing out drones, all that stuff. So we're going to see if we can like rent a cabin out there, because it's going to be during the wintertime. So.
Okay, so Maine and the New England area, okay, especially Maine, they have some of the most interesting cryptids up there, and they have a ton of them, including the Palmyra, I think is how you say it, Palmyra werewolves. Okay, the bipedal werewolves, the bipedal wolves up there. They also have that phantom moose. There's like a white phantom moose that's seen
Yeah, it's like the
Mm-hmm.
MRSA moose or something like that. More, I forgot what it was, but to me, their cryptids are on steroids, dude.
They are. They
Up
are.
there.
I mean, they are. They have a goat man too. They have goat man sightings. They
Yep.
have like sea creatures up there. They have was that the Bildad or something? I was trying to look them up online while we're sitting here talking, but they have Sasquatch sightings.
Yeah.
But the Wendigo, okay, the Wendigo, that is just something that I have not yet gone after. Okay, not at all. And not that I'm going after cryptids. Okay, we're just out there. You know, my team is just researching mostly Bigfoot, but we're just coming across other stuff. But now, when you go out and you're looking for something, I mean, you really got to get like super versed on it. You got to get super research. You know, research a lot and really prepare, because I don't know if a bullet would. You know, if you were to be attacked by one of these things, I'm not sure if a bullet would take one down.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I came up with, and I chatted with a guy who lived up there for a while, kind of like it has like Native American, I guess like blood in him. So I'll see if I can. I'll hit him up and, you know, have you talk to him. But as far as that, like there's basically only 4 things you can do: cut the head off, burn it alive,
God.
flamethrower, shotgun, incendiary ammo. Those are the only things.
Okay,
that's all I got.
it's pretty brutal. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
What's funny though is that a couple guys of mine on the team, they actually got flamethrowers now. They
Mhm.
so yeah, I was like, these guys.
Oh my God. They got to walk in the front. Okay. They got to walk in front of the team. Okay. That's wild. Okay. Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And you're out there. Okay. So are you just, okay. So are you guys mostly wanting the experience of it? Cause I got to ask, cause I know where I stand on all this. Like I want the experience
Yeah.
of encountering these things and observing them. And, you know, I'm not trying to mount one on my wall or anything like
Yeah.
that. Okay. It's not like that. I want to go experience it and just to observe. Okay, that's what I want to do. What do you
Well,
want?
for us, like to me personally and the guys, like of course, you know, it's the rush, but the main thing is it's honestly for the people who had experiences and people think they're crazy. We want to bring truth out to the public. We want to show these people that have had experiences, look, dude, you're not crazy. These things are legit. They're real. And, you know, people just need to be more careful when they go out into the woods, into the national parks and stuff. You know, we just want to bring truth and awareness to people and research. That's it. And if we bag one, cool. But I guarantee if we bag one, we're gonna have a 3-letter alphabet agency on our butts. So it just, you
Yeah,
know, it is what it is. To me, it's also all about like the research too, about the spiritual aspect of it. Like, you know, what's the reason why these things are here? You know what I'm saying? Like just to get to the root of it, you know, cryptid warfare, basically like spiritual warfare on it, you know. So
yeah.
that is like my I guess it's like my answer. So, but as far as that, prepping and doing what I can to make sure all our avenues are covered, that's just the name of the game of it. But like I said, it's just for research and just to bring truth to the public and just to put closure with the people that have had these sightings and, they actually have had their lives ruined because they have no one to talk to, or people think they're crazy, or they're, them getting fired from their jobs. These people need closure. That's what it is. These people need to realize, hey, I'm not crazy. I seen something that's real, and here's evidence to prove it. Here's scientific evidence to prove it. Here's camera evidence to prove it. Like, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So that's
so you're, yeah, that's a great answer. And so you're for full disclosure, just like I am. I would like. I mean, I don't think our government, of all people, I don't know if they're ever going to come out and say these things are real. They're not going to parade a bunch of dogmen out on a stage, which I wish they would. That'd be great. A bunch of Bigfoots or something. So we are the disclosure. Okay, Drew, you're the disclosure. Okay, I'm the disclosure. Our teams are the disclosure. Now, whether we choose to put everything out there that we collect out to the public, that's up to you. That's up to my team. That's up to whoever. But like I said, I'm there for the experience of it. I'm on my own quest, honestly. But I mean, somehow, and I never meant to go public with my research, and then somehow, I did go public because I was asked to, and I did. I didn't know. I never meant to go this public. Okay, like what I'm doing now. But I think that when the time is right, we will be getting the evidence, and it will be time to show it all to the public and stuff. Because I think it's going to be people like us that do that. I don't think it's going to be like our government agencies doing that. And I know too many people that have stories of actually getting evidence, finding some kind of weird horse-faced bipedal cryptid, and as soon as they get it, somebody gets a phone call, and then they have a big gigantic truck that shows up to load it up on the back of a truck and take it to the train station or something. Put it on a flatbed.
Yeah,
and get it out of there. So I don't know. Okay, here's my question. What would you do with one of these things? Like anything that you come across, like let's say there was let's say Dogman. Okay. Yeah. Let's say that the team went out and got charged by a Dogman, and you had to do something to stop it. Okay. And so it was deceased. What would you do? You don't have to tell me. Don't say exactly, but I'm just saying, like, would you like, the first thing, would you be like, oh, I need to contact, like, to call 911 or something? Would you do that? What do you think? Theoretically speaking.
That'd be okay. Theoretically speaking,
theoretically,
that would be like the last thing I do. So I have like 10 different phone numbers.
Yeah.
That I would call. Like, I wouldn't call them right away, but I have. Okay, so basically we have like body bags, right? Okay. We always bring body bags. We always bring 55 gallon black bags.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this on air. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So I'm just saying that's all I'm going to say. So I actually have a plan, and I have a backup plan, and I have a contingency plan and a tertiary plan, and I try to have all my avenues covered. So like, just letting everybody know, I do not want to commit suicide. I'm just letting you guys know that right now. But yeah, I will tell you off air. Or when we see each other. Like,
I didn't mean for you to go like into detail like that. I was just asking. Like,
that's all I'm saying. That was it. That's all I'm saying.
All for entertainment purposes only, y'all. We're just kidding. Okay, we're kidding.
All right. I'll just say, we bring disco ball, chainsaws, and body bags. How about that?
Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah. So, man, I got to be careful what kind of questions I ask you.
Just kidding.
This is too funny. Okay, but these are like real. This is real life for people who are in the cryptid field, and so I have a friend. Okay, I have a friend who says that, and I believe him. He goes out and he has been contracted. I can't say who, because I don't know exactly who, but he was contracted to go out and eliminate. Okay. Yeah, critters. Okay. And we're talking about Dogman. Okay. He was contracted by somebody to go do that. And it happens when they're being problematic, if they have gone and hurt humans of some sort. So that tells me that I don't want to say government, but somebody that they know that these things are out there.
Oh, they do.
Okay. They know they're
They do.
out there.
Yeah. Also, that if these things go rogue, that's when they send the big guns out there, and of course, like their whole frequencies and all that, and just like with anything else, any cryptid, you gotta freaking go after the vital parts, ears,
Yeah.
nose, taste, all that stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. There was somebody I remember there was a story I was listening to, and the people were talking about how they reported seeing like I think it was a dogman. Okay. And so a group of people were sent out, like it little like government vehicles pulled up, and they got up, and they surrounded the property, and they pulled out something that looked like some kind of device, and it was letting off a frequency, and nobody could hear it. The humans couldn't hear it, but the person's dog went into like a seizure or something.
Mhm.
It was almost like a dog whistle or something, where
Yeah.
they were trying to pretty much disable the dogmen, I guess. So it's like they had a protocol. Okay. They had a protocol. They had some way to go out there to go, this, I don't say disarm. I'm not saying they were like had weapons on them, but to disable it somehow
Yeah,
and
and
take it out.
100%. And what's crazy is that each mission set you have, right? Whatever mission you're doing, Bigfoot, Dogman, Wendigo, whatever, you bring certain tools for the certain job, right? Like Dogman, silver ammo, flashbangs because you go for the eyes, bear mace because you go for the sensor area, stuff like that. And like each certain animal or each certain cryptid has a certain, I guess, certain like mission set and weapon systems that you have to bring. So, but yeah, and like their whole like you said, like the ears. We actually bring dog whistles too. We have them on us if we're just in case. So just to kind of buy us like a second or 2 seconds, that way we can get some that way we can get some freedom fries slinging.
Yeah. Wait, are you trying to call them to you or to make them go
No,
away?
if we run into one, it kind of gives us a second, just to do what we
Kind
got
of
to
throw
do.
it off to make it stop for a second.
Yeah, to kind of throw it off to hurt its
Yeah.
ears, and we just
Yeah.
sling some love at them.
Some freedom fries.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's always so fun talking to you about this stuff. I know it's kind of morbid. I know my audience, I hope you guys are, please, y'all don't be offended by any of this, because we're just having a for entertainment purposes only conversation tonight.
Yeah.
And this is the real world as well. And we are dealing with cryptids, and they can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
And
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 not only that too, there's something I actually really want to bring up on the whole aspect side of cryptid researchers, right? I'm really employing you guys, like, just keep in decent shape, wear the right clothes. If you guys have gear, test it out, wear it. Don't buy anything. If you have something brand new, like, wear it, go out and ruck with it. Don't wear anything that's like super brand new, because if you do, you're not going to know how it feels or whatever. Test your gear out. And not only that, keep in decent shape. Go walking around, because you don't want to be wearing the wrong clothes. You don't be wearing Crocs. You don't be wearing like shorts. Because you guys going to be out there in the elements. And not only that, if you're not in shape, you're a freaking liability to the team. You are, hands down, you are a liability to the team. And it's not fair to your partners. It's not fair to anybody else. Like, this is actually serious stuff. If you guys really want to get into this, it basically is life or death when you think about it. Because not only that, you can run into animals, you can break your leg, do whatever. You guys got to plan this stuff out. Carry satellite phones, flare guns, whatever, smoke bombs. If you guys are trapped, you need to call in a helicopter. Like, you guys got to think of this stuff. It's not just a walk in the park. You really guys got to really think about this stuff. Train, and test your gear.
You are so on target with that. I mean, you even got to, I mean, we have lists. Okay. Like on my teams, we have lists of all the gear, all the survival stuff we need. It's a suggested list, but we pretty much, everybody on the team has a lot of the same stuff, and we have extra, of course.
Yes.
But I mean, even stuff like something as simple as like a mirror, carrying a mirror in your bag too, like in case you get lost, and, so somebody could see you from the air, or you could shine it from somewhere, just you have to think about stuff like this. And yeah, the wearing new hiking boots. Don't ever like wear new hiking boots when you're going on an investigation. You're going to be out there walking for miles and miles. You're going to get blisters on your feet, and it's going to be miserable. Okay, and you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to run if you get chased, if your feet are hurting. So yeah, things like that. You have to be practical. You have to be practical. And like I said in the beginning, this is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. But it's for
Yeah, not only that.
for some thrill seekers like us, though, right? Some
Yeah,
serious researchers.
it's taken a lot of years, like a lot of trial and error to to figure out stuff. But I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of trying to give you guys pearls, man. So other than that, like I said, test out your gear, wear it around the house, and you're gonna realize what works and what doesn't. Like what boots you should wear, what simple socks you need to bring. Like bring wet ones. Like and this is when the whole field craft comes into it, right? Survivability, like simple things like tissue paper, extra food, water, stuff like that. You'd be surprised when we go out with other teams how many things people forget, like simple things that people forget, and it makes it for a rough time. It really does for them.
It does. I try to pack extra for people and just in case, but you
Because
really
somebody
don't want
always
to be
forgets
carrying a
something.
lot of extra stuff when you're out there
Yeah.
hiking in. You need as little as possible. And the longer that I've been researching, the less my equipment has it's like
Yeah.
dwindled down. It's like
Yeah.
I'm bare minimum now. Like I don't even like taking a whole lot of equipment with me at all.
Yeah.
Um, I hardly take any.
You're basically running Streamline is what you're doing.
I ran Streamline. That's all I do is run Streamline these days.
But not only that, too, guys. If you guys do plan out something, like do your research before you go there. Talk to locals. Talk to law enforcement that's there. And not only that, like have like a gear prep. If you guys are going out, get together, make sure everybody on the team has the same stuff, or if you guys are missing anything, just like Deska said, bring like double of every, if you can, and just with all your team, that's what we do is we do like a gear dump anytime before we go out. That's what we're doing next month. We're actually doing a gear dump. Bring all our gear, everything we're bringing, and then we just basically just like subtract and eliminate or add on. Like I don't need this. I didn't need this last time. Like basically, you bring the gear for what the mission said is. So.
Exactly. I'm an overpacker too when I go on trips, but not when I'm out in the field. Not well. I'll leave everything out in my truck, but like when you're out there actually in the field, like running around, you don't want a whole lot of stuff on you. You really don't.
Yeah, it's like that saying, ounces lead to pounds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then you have some jokers on your team that like to put rocks in your rucksack while you're walking. Sometimes when you're not looking to, so gotta look out for that. I know we have a lot of fun out there, but yeah, but it's dangerous stuff, and but we make it fun, and I mean I don't want to die, not knowing what all's out there. I want to experience everything that this life has to offer, and I think you're the same way.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, definitely want to experience life and enjoy God's creation. So
exactly. Well, okay. So do you have any like final words and any words of wisdom? I mean, you just gave some words of wisdom there. I was going to ask you to do that, but any kind of final thoughts before we go tonight?
Oh gosh. Okay, for me and my guys, like I'm spiritual. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. So before we go out there, me and the guys always pray over each other. Not only that, we, like I said, we cross our T's and dot our I's. Not only that, let people know on like where you're going to a certain area. Like example, like my wife and like my dad. I always let them know where I'm going, who I'm going with, and the same thing with all the guys on my team. And we give like grid coordinates and what areas we're going to be in, and also give them like a timeline of like when you're going to be back. If you're not back by a certain time, call in the cavalry. So always have that, with you, like, and you always got to let people know like on where you're going, because if you don't come back, who the hell's going to know where you're at? So, prep, plan. That saying goes, luck favors the prepared.
Oh yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, that's amazing. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to get back out in the woods with you guys sometime and go do some more cryptid hunting out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, we've got some other things coming up too. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up, Drew. So I'm super excited. And I'm glad that I got to do at least one investigation with y'all so far. So
Oh yeah, girl.
that's
There's gonna be
awesome.
plenty more. So
Oh yeah.
we got us like a long life to live. So like you said, you're young, so we got this.
I know, 21 again. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you do interview other people too about their experiences. Tell the audience about your podcast.
Yeah, guys. Just like Jessica, I actually have a podcast. It's called the Cryptid Warfare and Conspiracies Podcast. You guys can find me on Instagram. It's underneath Cryptid Warfare, and under Facebook, it's under Drewski Andrew, but it's also Cryptid Warfare as well. We actually got a YouTube channel too, Cryptid Warfare. We interview people on all kinds of aspects, conspiracies, cryptids. We do like a lot of like spiritual warfare. We interview like religious people. We interview all kinds of aspects, and we interview people who had experiences. We interview people who are professionals at certain areas. Like the example, kind of like we're going to interview this guy who was an exorcist for a while. So all kinds of stuff. So, and not only that, I'm gonna throw it out there. If you guys need any prayer or anything, hit me up. Guys, drop me an email. It's at cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. I'll be happy to do that. And just blessings to you guys, and be safe out there for all you boots on the ground cryptid hunters. And just be safe. Be safe.
Thank you, man. And so, you guys go to Drewski's, the Cryptid Warfare podcast Instagram page. You put out a daily devotional, which is just fantastic. It really can brighten my day sometimes when I'm listening to you. So, and I think everybody would really enjoy that. So it's very inspirational, as are you. And I think the world's a safer place with you in it. Okay,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and a more exciting world too, and funny as well, because you're awesome. But thank you for being here, Drew.
Hey, thanks for having me, girl. It's always a pleasure.
Of course. Well, shoot, I'm going to bring you back too, especially after this next trip you got coming up. Okay, so we're gonna keep in contact and get some updates coming up soon. Okay.
Yeah, and then we got to get ready for the big one, the big interview. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we got that coming up too. Yeah, that's TBA, to be announced. Okay, so we'll be talking about that soon. And you're going to be seeing a lot more Drewski, y'all, with Cryptid Warfare podcast and his team.
Well, not only that too, with that certain person, he said he wants to join teams. So.
Oh yeah, he's coming down to the meadow too, he said. So, and I know we're not giving away names right now, but we've got a lot of interesting projects coming up, y'all. So
good stuff, guys.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I will not have a show on Spaced Out Radio tomorrow night. It is the holiday, Memorial Day weekend, and it's my birthday tomorrow. So I'm going to be out of town. I know, right? So I'm going to be out of town, but I will be back next week on Wednesday with a glitch in the matrix. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Drewski, you got any plans for the weekend?
Oh, where's my planner? Oh, my daughter has a ballet recital Saturday, and then Brian, his nephew Hunter, he's going to be going out to he's flying out to California for the Marines. So he's doing that thing. God bless him. We're going out there, going to have a party for him, going to wish him luck, wish him the best, and then just hang out with family, do church security, and just Oh, we're doing I just got another podcast Sunday morning. It's constantly going. So
I feel you. I'm the exact same. I'm the same. But you know what? We're just living life, and I'm loving it. Yeah. So
too, since this is Memorial Weekend, guys, just keep in mind for all the fallen soldiers, first responders, stuff like that. If you know somebody who's in it, thank them. If you know any first responders, thank them, and especially the guys who basically gave up their lives for freedom. So, we salute you guys. Love y'all. And, love all you guys out there. Just remember, this country was bought in blood. So don't ever forget that. So.
That's right. And thank you for your service too, Drewski. And thank you to everybody out there who's been in the military or law enforcement, first responders, everybody. Thank you so much for your service. And we are thinking about y'all this weekend. So, and everybody, please be safe out there. Okay, everybody out on the lakes and having picnics and just having fun. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Drewski, I will see you soon. Have a great weekend and happy Memorial Day, you guys. Y'all stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel and lock your doors. All right, y'all have a good night. We'll see you later. All right, see ya.